Morning friends, welcome back to your favorite channel Code One Digest. So in this video we will be covering all the basic commands of the GitHub repository that you can use to perform all the operation to check out branches, to create branches, to clone the repository, right? To check in the files, right? To commit the files, to push our local changes to the remote repository. I'm going to cover all the basic commands in this video. So it is going to be very interesting and very informative. So stay tuned and be with me in this video till the end. Okay, let me quickly recap what is GitHub. GitHub is a code hosting platform for version control and collaboration. GitHub lets people collaborate and merge their work from any location. It is a distributed system, it's a distributed application, so that it can be accessible from anywhere and everywhere. And 83 million users are using GitHub repository today. So start using GitHub if you're not using. You can be any artist, you can be a blog writer, you can be a programmer, you can be a web designer, or whatever work you do, you create a lot of files in your computer. To save those files, you can use GitHub repository. It's completely free. You can upload all your changes and maintain the version of those files, right? I'm talking about files that you can upload, text file, documents that you create. But GitHub is not for the binary images, videos. You should not upload media files to GitHub. So you can use GitHub repository to save all your work and to create a version of that work so that you can revert back your changes easily. You can go back to previous version. You can see the differences between the previous and the current version. So in all that sense, GitHub become very useful. So you should know some basic commands. How can we operate on GitHub repository from our local? I have created a few videos on GitHub project setup, GitHub repository setup. The video links are given on your screen. Let me quickly show you where those videos are. I have created this playlist where I have created a video for repository setup. I have also created a video for a reference guide for a basic GitHub commands. In this video, I'll be showing you more GitHub commands. So stay tuned and watch this video till end. Friends, before we proceed in this video, I want you to subscribe my channel to grow Code One Digest family. Friends, I'm creating a lot of quality contents for you, but I'm not getting subscribers. I want you to like, share, and subscribe my channel so that I can grow Code One Digest family. Thank you. Okay, friends. So in a previous video, we have seen what is GitHub repository, how can we create a GitHub project, how can we create a GitHub repository for our project, how to add files to GitHub repository, how to commit files into GitHub repository, and how to push the changes from our local repository to remote repository. And more than that, it is collaborative system where multiple people, different people, your team can collaborate to your work. You can share your repository with them and they can work independently on a same file on a different file, and you can see the differences between those files. So it is very easy and convenient for collaboration. It's a very good collaboration tool and version management system. Let me show you the playlist that I have created. Yeah, so you can see this is my existing playlist on my channel. In this video you will learn how to create a GitHub repository project setup. In this video you will learn some basic command, very basic command, how to add files to our GitHub repository, how to commit it, then how to push our changes from a local repository, remote repository. So do watch this video. Now in this video, I am going to cover more commands, more useful commands for the GitHub. So it is going to be very interesting. So stay tuned till end of this video. So in the previous video, we learned some of this command like git init to initialize a new Git repository. To create a new Git repository, you use git init command. Then git status command is to display the state of your work in a directory and staging area, because you always work into staging area till you commit your changes. We also learned about git remote add. This command is to add the remote repository for your local repository. This is to link your local repository with the global repository. If you have not seen the previous video, I have covered this topic in the previous video, how the Git repository works, what is the architecture of Git repository. You should go and see what is the concept of local repository and global remote repository. So you should see that. So this is a command where you can link your local repository with your global repository. Git remote add. Then you have a git add command to add the files, to add the changes that you have done on the file to your local repository. Then git commit is a command to commit the snapshot of all your changes, whatever is there in your working directory, right? So all the changes will get committed and it will be ready to push to remote repository. Then finally, once all the changes are committed in your local repository, you can use git push origin master to push all your changes from local repository to remote repository. Okay, so these commands we have already covered in our previous video. So friends, in this video I am going to cover all these commands like git clone. So you have to use a git clone command to download the repository snapshot to your local machine so that you start working it. Then we'll use a git config. Git config is to set configuration data. Then git status to see the changes you have done in your staging area. Then git add, we have already seen git add command is to add files. Git commit command is to commit files to your local repository. Then git pull. Git pull is a command to take the latest from remote repository to your local repository. Then we will also see the git branch command, how to change a branch, how to create a new branch using checkout command. Okay, so how can you check out a branch using checkout command? Then how to merge branch, then how to reset your changes, how to clean the untracked files, how to revert your changes, how to see a log of GitHub, then how to see a difference between the different version of that file. So we'll see all these commands in detail. I'll give you a demo of all these commands, so stay tuned. Let's start with the git clone command. Cloning means making a copy of original object. In Git, cloning is an act of making a copy of any target repository, any remote repository. We can clone a remote repository to our local repository in our local system, in our local machine. So the diagram what you see, that you have local repository and you have remote repository. You can create a copy of remote repository into your local repository and then start working in your local. And then you can do a push your changes to the remote repository. The cloning is the command that your team member can use when you share your repository with them to start working, to start contributing to your repository. So let me show you a demo. How can we do it? Just before that, let me show you my repository. So this is a repository that we have discussed in our previous video. I have created a repository for this demo. Code One Digest, GitHub, demo. This is the repository. And then in that previous video, we checked in a few files, test file 2, 3, and so on. So we'll be using the same repository for this demo as well. Now what we'll do is we want to add a user to contribute to this repository. So what you have to do is you have to share a URL of this repository. This is the URL of this repository that user can use to clone it. Now let me show you. So this is a folder where I'm cloning that repository. I've created a folder. Just create a folder anywhere in your local file system, and then you open your git bash here. This is a git client. In previous video we saw how to install and set up this git client. This is a git client and I use this. Now what you have to do is if you see, this git client has already opened in the same location in my D drive projects GitHub basic command demo, right? This is the folder name. Now what I'll do is I'll just use that URL to clone that repository into my local. So use a git clone command and just paste that URL here. So this is a complete URL of that repository that we want to clone, and say please enter. So it is downloading all the code. You can see now in this folder, you can see that that repository is downloaded. If you go inside, you will see all the files are available here. Whatever files you see on in your web interface, the same files you see in your local directory also. Now a user can start working on these files or can add a new files to this repository, and then he can add, commit, and then push back all his changes to start remote repository. So repository is already created. Now you invite your team member, your friends, your colleagues to start working on the repository. That time they will be using this command with the repository URL to start working on your repository. With me? Now let's see a git config command. You can set the git configuration using git config command like username, user email ID, and so on. The example what you see on your screen is like when user try to access any repositories first time, the git asks for credentials, and to avoid git asking you the credentials every time, what you can do is you can set the username, email ID, and password using this git config command. You can also have user.password where you can give the password and it will get saved in your local git configuration. You can see that this configuration is saved into .git slash config folder, and then you can also list the configuration using the git config hyphen list option. Let me show you the demo now. Git config hyphen hyphen list. So it will show all the details of your configuration. It will show my email address that I'm using to log in and what is my username and so on. What is my default branch? So this git configuration is very useful to set up your configuration to avoid Git client asking you the credentials again and again. So you can use this git config command to set that configuration once. Now let's see a git branch command. Using git branch command, you can create a new branch. A new branch is required whenever you want to add a new feature to your project or you are working on a bug fix. So that time you don't want to disturb the code which is there in your main branch. Then you start working on a separate branch. And then once that feature is ready or that fix is ready, you merge that fix from that new branch to a main branch. So we always work on our separate branches. In fact, all the team members should work on their individual branches. And once their work is ready, once the feature is ready, once the fix is ready, that time they should be merging their code with the main branch so that it is available for others to use it. So what is the syntax here? Git branch and a branch name. This is a command to create a branch in your local repository like given here, git branch b1. So it creates the branch b1 for you. Let me give you a demo. How can we do that? Let me go to my terminal. Yes, so this is my git bash. First, let me show you how can we see what all branches I have. So git branch minus list will show me the what all branch I have. So I just have a master branch as of now. Single branch is going on. This is my main branch. So now I can use git branch1 to create a branch. Now this is the branch created. Now if I say git branch minus list, so it is showing me there are two branches created. Now how to change my branch, because I have to start working on branch 1. So how can I do that? I have to check out that branch. So for that I have to do that git checkout branch 1. Right? So what I'm saying is now I want to switch from master to branch 1. That time I'll fire this command and I'll change my branch to branch 1 so that I can start working on that branch. Yeah, so you see that my branch is now changed. Whatever name you see here in this parenthesis, in this bracket, is the name of the branch of your current branch that you're working on. All my previous command were working on the master branch. As soon as I fire git checkout branch 1, then I came to branch 1 branch. I can go back to my master branch anytime with the same command. So I can go back to my master branch. So now you see again my branch become master. Now I am again working on my master branch. So this is the concept where you allow different people to work on different features, on different fixes, and then once the fix is ready, once the feature is ready, then you merge their code with your main branch. With me? Now let's see a git checkout command. Git checkout command is to switch between the branches. You can switch one branch to other branch using git checkout command. The syntax is shown here, git checkout and the branch name, right? And git also allow you to switch the branches without making a commit onto your current branch. Git checkout with -b option helps you to create a branch and switch to that new branch. So as you see in this diagram, you have a master branch going on, and then from a particular version, you create a branch 1, and then you keep having multiple version in that branch 1, and then you can switch between the branch 1s to master branch any point of time, right? So let me show you a demo. How can we do that? Let me go to my git bash. So to know all the options available, let us see git checkout -help. You can use this command to see the options available with the checkout command. You can see -b option is to create and check out a new branch, and so on. There are multiple options available. So what I'll do is let me first see what all branches we have, git branch minus list. So it will show me. And right now I am in master branch. So git checkout. Let me switch to my branch one. Git checkout branch one. So now if you see, now my current branch become branch one and I can start working on it. Let's say I want to create another branch from branch one. So for that I will use git checkout -b option branch 2. So what it will do is, with this command it will create branch 2 from branch 1 and also switch to the branch 2. Let's see. So now it has created branch 2 and I am now into branch 2. I can do work into a branch 2, right? This is how you can use the checkout command to switch between those branches, right? With me? Okay friends, so let me summarize what we have learned in this video. We have seen the git clone command. How can we clone a repository from remote repository to our local machine? Then we learned about git config. How can we set the credentials using a git config command? Then we have used the git status command to see the status of our staging area, and we have used the git add command to add files to our staging area, git commit command to commit our changes to our local repository, git branch command to create a branch, and git checkout command to switch between the branch to switch to another branch. Okay friends? Friends, in next video we will see what is git pull command, what is git merge command, git reset command, git clean command, git revert, git log, and git diff command. All of these command will cover in the next video. So stay tuned for the next video. Do not miss to watch the next video. Friends, if you like this video, so give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm creating a lot of quality contents for you guys. I need your help in growing the Code One Digest family. So please subscribe this channel and also do share this content with all your friends and colleagues. Thank you.